Hello, 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 beautiful ladies, women helping women. Hello, 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 hello. I welcome you to my office in the trees here in Anchorage, Alaska. I so appreciate you for showing up and or watching the replay today. So welcome. I see a couple people popping in and I would love to know where you're joining in from. You are joining me in Anchorage, Alaska, where we have a beautiful, I want to open the shade and show you how beautiful it is. Maybe I can do this and show you. Where are you joining in from? How beautiful it is out here. It is like, let me see we've got 10 degrees outside and it is just beautiful. I'm going to mess up my whole setup here, but we've got lots of snow on the ground. Hello, Hedviga? Is it Hedviga? Where are you joining in from? You are joining me in my office in the trees. We literally live in the woods and the mountains are right behind us. And it is a lot of snow on the ground. I've got my little God provides all I want there. Lots of snow on the ground. Tonight it's supposed to be below zero. I hiked this morning and it was 2 degrees out with my friend and my husband. There's my friend, Chancy girl. She's sacked out. Usually she climbs up here and says hi to everyone. So where are you joining in from today? I would love to know where you're joining in from. And I'm going to shut the shade. I really hate to shut the sunshine out. We are up to we're gaining almost 6 minutes of daylight every single day up here in Anchorage, which is really, really wonderful because this cold temperatures, it can get really depressing in the dark. So where are you joining in from? I see lots of you joining. I would love to know where you're joining in from. And make sure, can you hear me? I've got my little microphone on. We're going to talk about business planning, one of my very, 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 very favorite things. Who has a business plan out there? Who has a business plan? Who's stumped on business planning? Anybody? And where are you joining in from? Please comment below. Let me know where you're joining in from. Before I picked this topic, I clicked on the search bar for this group, Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs, and I clicked in business planning. And so many posts popped up for business planning. Yay, thumbs up. Please let me know where you're joining in from. And if you have ever created a business plan, I see Catherine. Catherine, how are you today? How are you, my friend Catherine? There we go. I can see Arkansas. Catherine's in Arkansas. And you know what? I should remember where you're from. And I always forget where you're from, Catherine, because people confuse AK, which is Alaska, on our address, with Arkansas. So people ask me all the time online if I'm from Arkansas. And actually, no, I'm from Alaska. And I look to be a little bit dark in here, but I don't want to open the shade. It's so bright outside. So I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to let it go. Right? Catherine, how are you? I've been watching Heartland and now I want a horse again. I walked by some horses yesterday and I had all I could do not to stop and pet them. So let's get going on the business planning. I'm going to cover 4 basic ingredients that will help you to get going on a business plan. 4 main ingredients that have helped me throughout all the years. I've been a business owner almost 20 years, and it's really bothering me that I'm so dark on camera. I don't know why. It's really bugging me, so I'm going to try moving my phone. There, that's a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to cover 4 ingredients that will help you to get going with that business plan. And a lot of people say that a business plan, like you don't need a business plan. Who cares? I'm successful. I've never done a business plan. Good for them. I'm here to share with you that for 20 years in business, I have always, nope, I take that back. When I have created a business plan, I've had tremendous success. When I've flown by the seat of my pants, I've struggled and I've had challenges and I've had obstacles and a hard time sort of staying the course. So a business plan does not have to be as painful as it was for me in my very first experience. And I'm not seeing any hands up. Catherine's done business planning with me. She's joined my Women's Visions to Profits membership community, and she's joined my vision mapping workshops. And Catherine, have you had success using the vision mapping plan? Pop a yes or a no in the comments if you would. I call it vision mapping, sexy word for plan, right? Vision mapping, sexy word for plan. So a little back history, how I got going with creating my business plan. I was 30 years old. I was working in corporate America. Anybody? Hands up, corporate America. I was making tons of money for me back then in the 90s. I was making about $80,000 and I was single. And I felt enslaved to give a huge piece of my commission to the company I worked for. I knew I was really good at selling, and yet I started to not really believe in the product, and I started to really think about entrepreneurship. And I went to a career counselor in Seattle, Washington. I plug him all the time. I don't even know if he's still in business. His name was David Goodenough. Love the name, right? Career counselor named David Goodenough. And I sat with him for 3 hours and I learned a couple really cool things. One, at 32 years old, I learned that I have a learning disorder, dyslexia. Anybody else have dyslexia? There's so many different forms of it, right? So I'm dyslexic. Anybody else? And I have a crooked right pinky. Now you know all there is to know about me. I crack myself up. Hello. I see more women joining. Kalada, welcome. Please comment where you're joining in from. So I learned that I was dyslexic and that I really wanted to go into business for myself. And what David Goodenough told me was that if I came back to Anchorage, because I was in Seattle meeting him, if I came back to Anchorage and I dialed in with somebody that could help me write a business plan, and I surrounded myself with 3 to 5 mentors that could sort of guide me throughout the process of creating this business plan, he said I could do anything. And I see, is it Kalada? You're from Brooklyn. Welcome. I'm originally from Western New York by Ontario and Buffalo. My folks still live on the Niagara River, and I moved to Alaska 24 years ago from Orlando, Florida, if you can believe that. And there's a whole backstory behind that. If you want to hear it, private message me. So I came back to Anchorage and I dialed in with the Small Business Development Center, and they helped me to create my very, very first business plan. It was one of the most painful things that I ever went through, besides getting sober and running a couple marathons, was creating that business plan. I asked 3 people to be my mentors to help me, because I told them that I was going to get really scared throughout the process. I was going to want to jump ship. I was going to want to move. I was going to want to do anything but keep moving forward with that business plan. Can anybody relate? It's scary being a business owner, creating a business, right? Hands up. It's scary creating a business plan. It's scary taking actions that are really uncomfortable. So, started writing the business plan, and we're going to get into the 4 ingredients here. One of the very, very first ingredients of a business plan is to ask yourself, and if you want to take notes, great. If not, go ahead and download the freebie, because these are all on the freebie, on the infographic, okay? So I put the freebie up in the comments, so go ahead and click the download button. the first ingredient and the most important ingredient. What pain point are you serving? And way back when I was 32 years old and that first business, we didn't call it pain point. We called it, what are you providing that the community needs? Are you providing something that the community needs? And I had no idea at the time. I knew that I wanted to work with animals. And my very first business was Rub-a-Dub Dog. It's a mobile dog grooming service that still runs around Anchorage, Alaska. It was the very first mobile dog grooming service in Alaska because I loved animals. And all my corporate friends and the organization I worked with, I was a development director for an organization, thought I had lost my mind. They thought that I had lost my mind, that I was going to go wash dirty dogs for a living. And you know what? Most of them ended up using my service once I got the business going. So first ingredient, what is the pain point? What are you providing that people need? What fixes a problem? Who watches Shark Tank? Who watches Shark Tank? I love when they ask that question. What are you providing? And they're so severe in that. I'm trying to look at the comments on my laptop too as we go on. They'll be like, no, that's not a need. Nobody needs that. Bye-bye. They're like really blunt. So what is the pain point? A lot of times we think that we have a great idea because we think it's a great idea, when in fact, it doesn't serve a pain point. Maybe to a few people, maybe a handful. A large majority of people probably wouldn't buy into it. So we need to ask ourselves, our community, our organizations that we're involved in, our Facebook groups, if what we're providing they would actually buy, right? So that's the very first thing. Once you have that pain point, that need that you are providing, then you can come up with your business name. Look at all these women joining. Please comment where you're joining in from and if you've ever created a business plan. And thanks for joining my Alaska office in the trees. Thank you so much. Then you can come up with your business name. You can come up with your mission statement, your vision statement, all that. Oftentimes, entrepreneurs or entrepreneur wannabes start with the business name, with the vision statement, with the mission statement. And guess what? I've done it. So we waste all this time trying to come up with the shizzle, right? The fancy name, the fancy vision statement, the fancy mission statement, when in fact, we need to first ask ourselves that first ingredient. What pain point am I serving? Because if you're not serving a pain point, guess what? Your business is not going to work, okay? Hi, Hannah. Hannah's joining in from Brisbane. Hannah, what time is it in Brisbane? It is 3:44 p.m. here in Alaska, in Anchorage, Alaska. Okay, so that's the first ingredient, what pain point. Then you can come up with the business name, the vision, the mission, okay? The second ingredient, and this was the very most painful part for me, the second ingredient. And again, if you forget all this, just go ahead and download the freebie. It's all on the infographic for you. And it's simple. It's laid out really simply. You can do this. You can do this, and I can help you as well. So this was the hardest part for me, market research. 10:44 a.m. Is it 10:44 a.m. in Brisbane on Monday or on Sunday? It's Sunday here. We're in January still. Are you in February, Hannah? Okay, market research. I will never forget when that career counselor at the Small Business Development Center that was helping me to create my first business plan told me to do the market research. Oh my gosh, it was like pulling teeth out of my mouth, literally. I would go into his office like for weeks. I think I went like 3 weeks in a row, and I had all these different ideas. I was like, I got the van for the mobile dog grooming business. I got this. I'm buying products. I'm doing this. And he would say, market research. What's your market research? And my homework back then was to pick up the phone and to call other groomers and to find out what their pricing was. So I had to be kind of stealth and sneaky and kind of like find out what the market would bear, what I could actually charge people. Hannah says she's in February. Happy February, Hannah. We here in Anchorage, Alaska are still in January. And hello, Rolanda, where are you joining in from? Okay, so I got to move along here. I've got 10 minutes. So the market research is, what are you selling? What are people going to pay you for it? And so it requires you to do a lot of digging. You're welcome, Hannah. You're welcome. I love to help people succeed in business. And I think having the business map, from my experience and the clients that I get to work with, when they get this part done, when they get the plan done, they feel this freedom and doors start to open, opportunities start to open, because the business plan is for you to gain clarity. It really is. It's for you to gain clarity. And with clarity comes a lot of confidence. And then you can move forward in creating the business that you really want to create. And when I started my first business plan, when I started my second business plan, I had no clue where I was going to really end up. So the business plan sort of helps you to navigate and move and ebb and flow, and it helps you to stay on the pathway to whatever the end result is going to be. Okay, so the market research, you want to do your market research. You want to make sure that you're charging what the market can actually bear. Now, currently, I just finished my master coaching certification, so I'm an executive life coach. I love it. And I'm involved in a coaching group, a group of us that all went through the course together. And we were talking the other day about our pricing. And I think we all want to have the perfect price and charge what we're worth. Well, guess what? I'm charging according to my experience. I've had like 10 years of consulting, and I've just learned a lot of new stuff for coaching. So I'm charging according to my experience and according to what people are willing to pay me. And then my rates can go up accordingly as I grow, as I build. So the same goes for you. And how do you start out? You ask people. You ask people. I avoided asking friends and family. Friends and family are really tricky, and you know what? I can't tell you the last time a family member paid me for my services. So I go to the Chamber of Commerce. I go to now Facebook groups that I'm involved in. Ask your community. Ask people what your services, what your products are worth. Okay? Do the market research. Okay, 10 more minutes. The third ingredient is growth. You want to do projections. And again, this was another hard part for me in my very first business plan, is projecting out quarterly, yearly, 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road. Are you creating a business that you want to have an exit strategy, that you can sell the email list to somebody and be done with the business? This is my secret life plan. I hope to be 80 years old and coaching and consulting people. I want to be using my brain like forever. Oops, oh no, what did I do? Whoops, I just hit, sorry about that. Okay, so these projections. I used to do vision mapping workshops every year, and I would do women's retreats. I would provide the workshop once a year. I would go into businesses and do these vision mapping workshops once a year. And what happened was, over time, my businesses ebb and flowed. And my business is called Alaska Tracy. Alaska Tracy. Feel free to look at my website, alaskatracy.com. What happened was I ended up creating a women's membership community. It's called Visions to Profits Women's Membership Community. And the women liked the yearly vision mapping workshop. And this past year, in 2020, I started doing quarterly vision mapping workshops, and they love it. They love it so much more. Is that good grammar? They love it so much more than doing a whole year of planning, because they can break things into quarters. And so these quarterly workshops, I offer them every quarter, and I open them up to the public as well. And they're very inexpensive. They're 2 hours where I walk you through a full-on plan, okay? And a couple people in this group already have joined my last one. So projections, that would be a place where you could use a workshop or ask for guidance for somebody to help you to create your projections for a full year out, for a quarter, for 3 years, for 5 years, for an exit strategy. It's really important to have those nailed down, okay? And then the last ingredient, and this is one of my most favorite ingredients for your success business plan, is measuring and celebrating. Measuring and celebrating. How do you know if you are growing towards your goals, towards your objectives, if you're not measuring? How do you have any idea? Measuring can look like keeping track on your bank accounts. I've had a bookkeeper for the last 20 years, and she provides me P&L statements. They're called profit and loss statements. And it literally breaks everything I do in my business into categories so that I can see what I'm spending my revenue on. And I can tweak it accordingly. And having a bookkeeper helps me to stay accountable, because she asks questions like, why did you spend $20 on Amazon? So she helps me to stay accountable and think about, when I'm pulling out my business credit card, if in fact it is a business purchase that I'm making. So there's tracking apps that you can use to track your forward momentum. Habit Tracker is one of them. I am not a big app tracker for my goals. I am old-fashioned Excel spreadsheet, my P&Ls, my quarterly P&Ls that I get from my bookkeeper, my bank accounts, handwritten. I've got little stickies with goals everywhere. I'll show you my vision map right now, and it looks at me every day. I've got everything written out on my vision map. And what I like about the stickies is I can pull them and I can move them around. I can throw them out, but it has all my numbers broken out. It has all the different aspects of my business broken out. And this is what I teach, vision mapping. So I better have a vision map, right? If I'm teaching it. So how are you going to measure that you're moving forward, and that if you're taking a couple steps backwards, that you can pivot, you can adjust to keep going forward? And then the last thing of the fourth ingredient is celebrating. To celebrate your successes along the way, the big ones, the small ones, the all of them. To celebrate. How are you going to celebrate? Are you going to go have a pedicure? Are you going to buy yourself some lipstick? Are you going to go for a walk? I walk every day here in Alaska. What are you going to do to celebrate your successes? It's so important that we take the time and that we celebrate our successes. In the community that I have, Visions to Profits Women's Membership Community, every week we meet on Tuesdays for a Focus Forward call, and we talk about what obstacle the ladies have had for the week, because chances are somebody else in the group has had that same obstacle and they can share how they were able to walk through that obstacle. So we share about an obstacle, we share about one task for the week, and we share about a success that we had. And then we can all celebrate each other. Entrepreneurship can be a lonely, lonely, lonely place. And so finding groups that you can be a part of, that you can get to know the other people, men or women, however you're gonna join an accountability group, will really amp up your chances for success, your chances of completing your business plan so that you can get your business up and going. It's so wonderful to surround yourself with others that can share pain points, that can share and celebrate successes with you. Does anybody have any questions? I love, love, love helping people to plan, and to, more importantly than that, is watching people to implement action steps and then watch their lives to start to transform. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I had one client who started doing a vision map, and I'm trying to watch the comments, but I'm not seeing any. So if you're joining for the replay, please put replay. Let me know where you're joining in from. If you've done a business plan, and or if you're stuck and you need help, I love to help people. I do free discovery calls. You can find free discovery calls on my website, alaskatracy.com, and I'd be happy to have a free call with you to talk about where you're at with your business planning process. So real quick, back to that story. I had a client that wanted to open up a business. It was a coffee shop, and she had a great job, a corporate job, and so she started doing her vision map. And what happened was, just a little ways into creating her plan, she realized she didn't want to do this. So what the cool thing was about that was she gained clarity that she did not want to be a sole owner of a coffee shop. Another cool thing that happened, she became a silent owner of a coffee shop. So she kept her corporate day job and became a silent owner of the coffee shop. And actually now they're selling it. So the planning helps bring to the forefront the clarity, and it can mean that your idea is gonna go a different direction, and it may be even better than you ever could have imagined. How's that sound? That's been my experience, that when I put in the work and I start taking the actions towards whatever I think I want to provide or to do, something always happens, and oftentimes it's beyond my wildest dreams. If we take actions, we can let fear go, and we can build confidence and trust, and then we are able to go out and conquer and do all sorts of amazing things. I hope this has been, I hope this has been helpful to all of you. And please, please, please connect with me, alaskatracy.com. You can also join, now I have hair everywhere. You can also join my free women's community. It's called the Women's Success Community. It's a free group on Facebook. I would love to have you join the Women's Success Community. If there's anything I can do to help you move forward with your business plan, wherever you are in business, I think it's really important to have a plan. So even if you're 10 years into your business and you're stumped and you're confused and you want to grow and you want to go places, connect with me. All right? Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Christina Rowe, for allowing this group to prosper. All right. Bye for now. Happy Sunday or Monday if you're in Brisbane.